It's no secret that the B&M Hyper is super. But why is this attraction type so popular? Even though it has a hefty price tag. Because for a park to spend more than 20 million on a coaster, there has to be something that the park really wants from that coaster. And it just so happens that the B&M Hypercoaster possesses these qualities. Well, what are these qualities that make the B&M Hypercoaster so successful? Well, let's find out. There are three reasons why the B&M Hypercoaster might just be the most successful coaster model on the planet. And we're going to start off with reason number one. The ride experience. B&M Hypers are known for their floater airtime. And this is something that a lot of people who visit amusement parks simply love. And they cannot get enough of it. It's a nice sensation that's pretty comfortable to experience. It's not going to be uncomfortable or hurt your thighs like ejector airtime found on an RMC. Another thing we have to take into account with the B&M Hyper is the 200 plus foot lift hill. That lift hill looks super imposing to the average guest of a theme park. And it makes you really want to ride the attraction. Because then you get to brag with your friends that you rode the tallest and fastest coaster at that respective park. And I mean honestly, who doesn't like a good B&M Hyper? Sure, they're not the most intense coasters out there, but that might be for a good reason. It keeps them more accessible for more people to be able to ride. And the ride experience shouldn't make anyone too nauseous, which is definitely a plus. And I honestly feel like the B&M Hyper kind of has the same effect as the B&M Dive Coaster. The B&M Dive Coaster is known for being a very popular coaster type among theme park guests. And yes, us enthusiasts do not really like dive coasters, and I don't really like them either. They're just not great. But that first drop is something that the average theme park guest has never seen before. And they simply must ride it. And this is definitely a coaster type that when the average theme park guest gets off of it, they're going to really enjoy. And they're totally going to want to go back, get in line, and ride it all again. And a lot of this applies to the B&M Hyper. Sure, it's not the most intense in the world, or it doesn't have the best airtime either. But whenever the average theme park guest takes a ride on it, they're probably going to like it. And want to get right back in line and ride it again. And then you gotta get the domino effect where they tell a friend, that friend tells a friend, and then you simply must ride it and come visit the park. Which gets more people in the door to spend more money. It's good for the guests because they really like the coaster. And it's great for the park because it gets you in the door. So it seems like a win-win for parks and the guests. But we haven't even gotten into one of the main reasons why the B&M Hyper is so successful. And that is the excellent rider capacity that it offers. These B&M Hypers either feature 28 passenger trains, 32 passenger trains, or even up to 36 passenger trains. And a vast majority of these Hypers can operate with 3 trains, meaning that these trains cycle quickly with a lot of riders at a time, which equals a very quick moving line, which gets more people on the attraction in an hour. And theme parks really enjoy high capacity attractions, because fast-moving lines keep guests a whole lot happier than slow-moving lines. I mean, honestly though, who wants to wait in a long line? Because I sure don't. And probably like 99.99999% of you guys don't like to wait in long lines either. And a fast-moving line just helps improve the general perception of a coaster by the average theme park guest. Because it kind of all culminates into a better experience. And if a line moves fast, then a ride that's maybe like okay will seem a whole lot more worth it. And if they really enjoy the ride and the line was quick, they'll think that ride was exceptional. And honestly, that really makes sense. The shorter you wait for, the better it will seem. Because if I wait a really short time for an okay coaster, I'm gonna think that coaster was a little better than okay, and more worth my time. But if I waited a long time for a bad coaster, I would think that coaster was atrocious. And if I waited for a long time for a really good coaster, I would think it was a good coaster, but not an exceptional coaster. Okay, I know that got a little bit rambly, but basically the shorter the line, the better the coaster is perceived by the average theme park guest. And honestly, having a high capacity, good attraction like a B&M Hyper can really just change the outlook on a park. Because you pretty much get a built-in favorite attraction. and a reason to keep visiting the park over and over and over again. Hence why a lot of theme parks have built B&M Hypers. Okay, before we head on to our final reason why the B&M Hyper is so successful, I want to kind of throw in an extra reason. And it's the classic B&M reliability. When you order a coaster from B&M, you know what you are getting every single time. A reliable, smooth attraction that will have good capacity. And parks know this when ordering a B&M Hyper. And if we really think about it, B&M might just be the most consistent manufacturer out there. And this definitely plays into a park's decision to build a certain type of attraction. If you know what you're getting, you're a lot more likely to take a chance with B&M. Whereas sometimes with other manufacturers, it can be a little bit of a hit or miss. Or it might be too rough or too intense or something along those lines. Okay, we're now going to be moving on to the final reason why the B&M Hyper is such a successful coaster model. And if you've been watching my channel for a little bit, you guessed it, it's marketability. The B&M Hyper might be one of the most marketable attractions on the planet. It's tall, long, fast, and it looks really cool. And if you have a signature element like the splashdown on Diamondback at Kings Island, it just adds to the whole marketing fun. And it helps really get you excited to come check out that brand new coaster. And when you just drive up to a park and you see a B&M Hyper just imposing on the whole skyline, I mean, at that point, how can you not be excited for your day at a theme park? And it just really helps to get the vibe going for the entire day and sets the tone and it just gets you excited. And honestly, that's just what makes theme parks and the whole amusement park industry so amazing. I mean, the feeling of walking into a brand new park or your home park and just seeing the biggest, baddest, newest attraction that you have been waiting forever to ride, it's just awesome. And that's why I love being a coaster enthusiast. And B&M Hypers are just great for just setting the tone. And if your park's building a B&M Hyper, the PR team can really hype everyone up. And just marketability as a whole is a huge reason why the B&M Hyper has been so successful. Okay guys, that's a wrap on today's video. If you enjoyed the video, then drop a like. And if you want to see more content like this, then hit that subscribe button. Oh, and if you want to find out what we all missed about Top Thrill 2, then check out the video on your screen right now. And as always, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.